45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week, located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out. All hail Lucifer today, because Johanna from Lucifer is here, and this is super fucking cool because a couple of years ago, I think it was during the production of the fourth album, we had a thing where I was supposed to have you on the show then, and I got sick and had to cancel. And it's been like 2 years since. So here we are finally.
Well, luckily I have Alzheimer's. I wouldn't have remembered this. Hey, thank you for having me. What's
For
up?
sure, for sure. How are you today?
Pretty all right. Existing.
Sure, sure.
How are you?
So I'm doing well. So I always like to ask, because California is my kind of I want to be back kind of deal. So how's the weather out in the West Coast land today going?
I'm actually in Sweden right now,
Oh
where it's
wow.
below freezing point. I'm
Oh
looking,
shit.
yeah, I'm looking out onto the Baltic Sea, and the sea has frozen over where I live. So it's like fucking cold. It's nighttime here. It already gets dark at like 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
Wow,
And
that's early.
yeah,
That's
you
even
don't.
earlier than us, and for us it's usually around between 5:30 and 6 when it
Mhm.
gets starts to get dark in the winter here. So yeah, no, I couldn't do that. Uh,
It's horrible.
when I was setting this up, they asked for Pacific Coast time, and I was just like, oh, cool. And that's why I thought that you were out there.
Oh,
So
they,
it's
they
actually cold as shit for you.
it is. Yes, they messed up. I'm sorry they messed you up.
Oh no, not at all. Totally good. So we're here today to talk about Lucifer 5. Wow, here it is. It comes out today. I listened to it. I've actually been listening to it since Austin hit me up and said, "Hey, check this out." And it's like I'm already familiar with them. I know I'm already gonna love it, but let's check it out anyways. And yeah, I'm blown the fuck away. Early already, definitely within the few albums that have come out, it's top of the list for me.
Wow, thank you. I get goosebumps. Please keep talking.
Oh,
No,
for sure.
seriously, it means a lot. That's really cool to hear. Thank you.
Well, one of the things I like to actually talk about before we get into anything crazy on the album, such is I'm going to start with artwork, because I've always loved minimalistic artwork, but I've also loved like the crazy covers from people, that you get all these intricate like Sacrifice from Motorhead. It's all intricate and everything, but you all have stuck to the numbering system for the albums. Is it just because that's what it's about? Why do you all do the numbering system first?
Well, I started with that because my previous band that I had before Lucifer was called The Oath, and they broke up before the first album even came out, we broke up. And so I immediately founded Lucifer. This is now 10 years ago. And I gave the first album the title Lucifer 1 to kind of manifest that this is only the first one of a sequence of albums to come out. Basically to make sure. This means I will have to have more albums. I'm signing up for this, and so far I haven't made a fool of myself. We have 5 albums now.
Well, absolutely, you haven't made a fool of yourselves. I mean, because like I said a minute ago, it's like I know it's going to be good, but every time out, I am completely blown away with how much better it is, and how you all over the last 10 years have, you know, it's almost instant that you could turn it on and play anything. It comes up in the playlist. I don't care. It's like, that's Lucifer. I know who that is. And
Oh,
I think that's awesome. And how did you all do that? How did you come up with the idea to just say, this is what it is, and go from there?
it just happens from the gut. It's really not calculated. I think we are way too like in the moment and too busy to really sit down and make like some sort of musical business plan or something, you know. It's just we work from the gut, and luckily the progression has been that the albums become better. I agree. It's not intentional. I think if that was intentional, then you'd have the, you know, you have that from the beginning.
Right.
But
Yeah. That
you
everybody would
just
only ever have one album, right?
exactly, right? How do you do that? So, so I guess it just happens, and it makes me very happy that you say that, because it feels the same for me. And it's not because I have to promote this album now or something, and because you're not supposed to. I always say that you're not supposed to um, love one of your children more than the other, right? Because that would be horrible. But for some reason, as proud as I am of our catalog, this album goes deeper with me. And yeah, I am very happy about it. But it's really not that calculated or constructed. We are just super. Nick is very busy. You know, Nick and I, we kind of do everything together.
Sure.
And he's very busy with his other bands and stuff, and I'm very busy because we are a DIY band, so I do everything myself, you know, the management, the social media, the logistics, emails, talking to the different vendors and record company and this and that. So it's a lot of really boring office work, basically, you know. It sucks. And
it's
if
the
I
thing that it's the thing that we all signed up to be rock stars to get away from, that we still end up doing.
Right? Exactly. It's fucking annoying. And you know, I mean, it saves us a lot of money that I do it, but at the same time, it means I'm perpetually poor
Right.
and like overworked and underpaid, right? But whatever. We do this for the arts, and I,
Yeah,
I,
we all do it for the fun of it, for the love of the game,
right.
because as we've talked on this show till we're blue in the face about with everybody else, about how major corporations have completely screwed over any kind of prosperity that most independent bands could have.
Yeah.
So, and but I will say too that there are some really cool bands out there doing some really awesome things. You know, like Lucifer, Sanhedrin, you know,
Okay.
Snafu, some amazing friends of mine. Yeah, just like there are awesome things that can happen, which is still cool.
Yes, I'm so glad that, you know, there's we do we are, you and I, we're part of a scene that's very passionate about music, and it will always spawn young bands or new bands. I mean, I'm born in 79, and I started um, being a rock and metal fan when I was like 12 or 13, you know. And I already, you know, sang in a band back when I was 13. It was shitty, but you know, I tried, you know.
Yeah, but
But
it's part of it, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. And since then, you know, I've seen so many bands grow out of the ground left and right. So rock and roll is never dead, you know, in our universe. I love that.
For sure. And so with your writing, how has, say, the progression between albums with like lyric writing and vocals, how did they how have they manifested and changed for you?
I think I still go about it the same way. But maybe you just hopefully become a little bit better because you have more practice over the years, and also you have more life experience and the voice ages with, more like tragedy and things happening to you in life. I would say that usually translates into the how the voice sounds. So I mean, by nature, I hate my voice. I do.
I
But I
think
think
most of them do.
yes, yeah. But I do think I have become better at expressing myself. Absolutely. When I listen back to Lucifer 1, it's like, oh fuck, I can't stand
And
it,
you
you know.
wonder because, well, yeah, because that's a decade ago when that was
Yeah.
released, So, and when it was uh when the band was formed, so yeah, that I get to the point where I understand what that's like, where some of the songs that I wrote that long ago, I have a difficult time performing now because I have grown so much as a person. Have
Mhm.
you ever experienced anything like that?
I have experienced that there are certain songs that I don't like to sing because they remind me of certain times. For example, we have that song called Dreamer, and people always want us to play that song live. And I really now, maybe I shouldn't say this, but the truth is, I will sing it for the people who actually, pay their
Right.
dollar to go to the show. I will do it and I will really try my best not to go through the motions, to feel it because they feel if you feel it or if you don't. But I don't like to put myself in it because it reminds me of a time where I just came out of a relationship that was kind of emotionally abusive. So
Mm-hmm.
it will always remind me of that asshole.
I get that. No,
So
I totally get that.
yeah,
And so you become torn as a an artist versus a person because of that. And wow, man, that's hardcore because I know people that can just do it like it's no thing, and it's like, how do you do
like,
that?
sometimes you forget about it. Sometimes you
Sure.
don't think about it, and songs can uh, get a different meaning. Also, sometimes they can morph and stuff.
Very true.
But in general, yeah, there's something about the song. Anyways, but I mean, if you would ask one of like a more mainstream rock band and they have that one hit that they always have to play over and over, it's how much can you love that song still, after.
That's very true, especially when you get bands that really play massive shows and play a lot. Like when they back in the just say in the 90s when bands were doing like 250 dates a year and doing that whole thing, playing 4 and 5 and 6 nights a week and whatnot, and playing the same set list. So yeah, it would definitely get old.
I
So
mean,
when you do the set list, especially with having such a broad catalog of music now, how do you all go about creating and curating a set?
yeah, now in the beginning, the problem was that there wasn't enough songs.
Sure.
Because
So
you
you're
have one
playing the
album,
album in its entirety.
yeah. And now the problem is that we haven't toured with the pandemic albums, which are Lucifer 3 and 4, the two previous albums we never toured with. So when we will go on tour in 3 weeks, we do a European tour. So then I was like, fuck, how do you now we have more singles than fit on a Lucifer set list. We are not
Sure.
Metallica, we're not gonna play for 5 hours. But how many songs can you put into like an hour and 10 minutes? I don't want to play longer than that because first of all, I want my voice to last for the whole tour. And
Mm-hmm.
because it's very high and very low, it's like a lot going on. I can't sing for 2 hours, at least not for an entire tour. I have to be able to hit all the notes right. I'm very anal about that. So the set list can't be longer than an hour and 10 minutes. Um, and yeah, we have more singles out than would fit on that. So then it's like, oh, okay, shit, what do you take out? But we
Sure.
will, right now, we are kind of focusing on the last three albums because
Okay.
we haven't played those a lot.
Right. And with, like you said, with 3 and 4 being released and not being able to be toured on, that,
Mhm.
yeah, you really have to kind of do that stuff
Yeah.
and play those songs and find out which ones. Obviously, when you listen back, you know what songs are great to listen to on like the download side, right? Or whatever. But finding what works live, sometimes those songs that are downloadable and are just so awesome don't work live.
Yeah, I try to keep it interesting for us. It's like when you make the track list of an album, like when we start writing on an album, for example, and we have like, let's say, 3, 4 demos already, but you need 9 songs or something. And then it's like, okay, we have 3 hard rock songs. Maybe now it's time to, do one of our Doom songs, like, or the one that's more like, slow, kind of very gloomy ballady type or whatever. And because Lucifer has all these different ingredients, and live, I think it's also important to in a set list to keep it interesting. You don't want to play 3 ballads back to back or 3 songs that are in the same key.
Sure.
That's also boring, or that have the same drum pattern. So maybe like 2 songs are enough for one list, and maybe only 1 or 2 ballads are enough. But you kind of want to keep it a little
Yeah,
bit of.
you got to be able to. It's all about the emotional connection with everybody.
Exactly.
You
And
you
also,
really have to have your highs and lows. Sorry to interrupt. And yeah, you really have to have that.
it's
And
true. And
love
people
it.
love that. It's like a story to them. So they stand at that show and they don't want to be bored by something that's like samey, samey. You see that they enjoy everything. They enjoy the hard rockin' ones where they can have their fist in the air, and they're like rocking out. And then, it's like the ballady one where they get like really emotional. You see it on the faces and stuff. So I think in order to give people the show that they pay for, it's important to put effort into the set list. Totally.
Definitely. Um, out of everything that you all have done, what is there any songs that you have not done live?
Oh yeah, there's quite a few songs.
Well, aside from not being able to tour because of pandemic, like strictly from like a tour aspect, like if you 1 and 2, you got to tour those albums, did you play everything from them live?
We certainly played everything from Lucifer 1 live at one point because that's all there was.
Sure.
But then when Lucifer 2 came out, there's probably a few songs on there. I know we've never played Pacific Blue. Now I actually don't even I have a little bit of a blackout. What are all the tracks on Lucifer 2? It starts to be morph.
Nice.
But we have definitely not played everything of the Lucifer setlist. Maybe one day we should play all the songs we never played. Good idea.
That's awesome because yeah, I mean, why not, right? And I love 2 because 2 was the first album that I got from you all. And I was actually in Los Angeles when I bought it.
Ah,
uh, I was over at Amoeba, and that's where I
oh,
had picked it up from. And so it holds a special place in the CD player for that because I always dig that stuff.
I love Amoeba. It's such a cool shop.
Oh,
Definitely.
for sure. And it was the album cover. And like I said, I knew who you all were, but the album cover is always what stands out, I think, to me first, because I that metal guy, I guess. But when you all do album covers, how do you do it? Because the first album is just the white and the gold. The second album is the 3 of you on there, and the progression up into the cross, and now just to you on the cover. What's the artistic idea behind this?
Yeah, so the covers ideas are all mine because I kind of set the direction. So what was always important for me was that the record cover sticks out, because like you, I'm a very like visual person, and record covers are super important for me because that's how I grew up. Actually, best example is what you have behind you: Metallica, Master of Puppets, and Ride the Lightning. And when I was a teenager, I had enough money to pick. I remember, so I went to my first Metallica show when I was 13 and 14, and I saw them twice, in 92 and 93, with my first boyfriend, who was a huge Metallica fan also. And I had enough money to buy, I wanted to buy my first Metallica album, but I had only money for one. So I was like, oh, fuck, okay. Is it Just for All, Ride the Lightning, Philharmon, Master of Puppets? And I picked Master of Puppets because of the album cover, because I always loved crosses and cemeteries. So
Sure.
Master of Puppets was my first Metallica album, because of the cover. So covers are very important. And you know, when the first Lucifer album, when it was like, okay, what is the cover going to be for Lucifer 1? I thought, okay, I'm going to do something that nobody expects from me, because I had a band before called The Oath. They had a little bit of an underground hype in the so-called occult rock scene or whatever. That's even a thing. So, you know, given the other bands of that type of genre, they would all have like really dark album covers. So I thought, no, I'm gonna, for Lucifer 1, I'm gonna do exactly what nobody will get. I'm gonna take the super bright, you know, turquoise. Yeah, I know it looks almost like white with the gold. And of course, the initial thing that outcry was like, ugh, that's a horrible color to use for Lucifer, for an album called Lucifer. But now people got used to it. So I think I set like a different standard. And then I thought, okay, now it's time for Lucifer 2. Now I want the opposite. Instead of having it so obscure, I'm gonna put the band bam in your face. And then, you know, and I always want to do something that's different, and that's different from before, and something that we haven't done. And then, you know, then we had the album cover that was like a painting, and so on. So I just want the album cover to be a surprise, something that people don't expect, and I want it to stick out in the record shelf, like when, you know, in the shop when people see something, and I want it to pop out somehow.
Definitely. And yes, I love the cover to 3 also, because that's the one that looks like the painting, as you said, because yeah. And it does. I completely dig the colorization to it. Who designed the logo? Since you all said you've done pretty much everything, did you do that, or did you actually have somebody?
Yeah, that's a guy from San Francisco called Alan Forbes. He's like a screen print poster design dude, and he made the logo. I asked him, I showed him the first Rush album, and I said, "Can you take this font and make it a little bit more 3D, you know, with more shadow underneath, and make us a logo out of that." And that font that Rush used was actually very popular in the 70s. I mean, there's a lot of when you are into like poster graphics and stuff, you keep seeing that. Yeah.
I never made that connection.
There you go. I'm not a Rush fan, but I love the first
I am a
album.
huge Rush fan too. That's
Okay.
the thing.
That's the
I
thing. It's funny, but there you go.
I never made that connection. That is amazing. Uh, I'm going to ask you one more question before we get over to the derailed segment here, and that is, on the upcoming tour, what are you most looking forward to singing in the set?
At the Mortuary. That's my favorite Lucifer song ever, actually. Because
Nice.
it has all the different elements of what you find in Lucifer. It has the doom, the heavy stuff, but then it also has the parts that are like eerie and weird, and then it has a part that is super upbeat and almost hopeful, but then don't get your hopes up too much, because it's gonna end in death and misery, you know?
Right. And yeah, and why not? Because yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and switch over to derail. This is 5 random questions about you as a person.
Okay.
These come from a deck of cards that I have, and yeah, so I'm going to
Very
bring up my email because I thought I had it and I didn't. All right, here we go.
good.
Is there a band out there that is so good that makes you want to stop creating music?
No, not at all. Actually, because I'm not that type of like competitive, or I find it more inspirational if there's a good band.
Sure.
Uh, I'm very interested in hearing how other people do things. I think the problem is that nowadays there is no contemporary bands that knock me off my feet. I love all the old shit.
I understand that. And yeah, there are times where even with older bands, like I've still noticed like where if you listen to like peer group bands today, uh, where we all kind of might say, "Oh wow, that kind of sounds like this band," because the tone might be the same or a little bit of the riff might be similar. I still notice it a lot with like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Ozzy back in that day
Mhm.
where they were doing similar riffs to each other, and it's just like who's listening to who. Which
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I dig that because it shouldn't be competition because we all make our own type of noise, right?
Yeah, and everyone is somehow influenced by something. I mean, even the bands, the old bands that I love are influenced by something. Back then, the 70s bands were also like influenced. And yeah, I mean, if I would want to compare Lucifer to the stuff that I love from the 70s, then I could shoot myself. I mean, we'll never be one of those bands. But all we can do is, just stay true to ourselves and really mean mean it, love what we do and not just make an album because Nuclear Blast wants us to make an album or something like that.
Right.
Um, like we want to, I want to write lyrics. I need to actually. I need uh, to survive in this fucked up world. I need to turn my misery and my heartbreak and all the things that happened to me and the friends I've lost or family who have died or whatever. I need the songs to, they're my therapy. I built a world with Lucifer for me to live in, to make it livable in this horrible, nasty place the earth can be.
Yes, absolutely. And wow, see, that's fucked up because this is the second time in an interview this week that I've done that, and somebody is like giving me the end all be all like great philosophical fucking like out like reaching out, touching the universe in like the first or second question.
Who was the other person who did that? I know I'm a talk.
uh, I believe it was Mega Colossus.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, damn it, man. He's like, oh, you can cut
And
it out and put it at the end. I'm like, no.
I just asked you if you want milk or sugar in your coffee, and you like, yeah, you got yourself alive.
Right. What is the longest you've waited in line for something and what was it?
Hmm. Probably standing in line at the American embassy for my fucking visa interview. And you can't
Nice. Yeah,
even,
it's government. Of course, we're all standing in line for that shit.
yeah, all right.
Yeah, how long?
Oh, probably hours. Hours in the freezing winter cold of Sweden.
Oh, terrible. Fucking US government shit, man. Uh, what's something cool that you're using lately? App, a product, a type of a service. What's something cool that you're into and using these days?
Mm, something cool. I'm trying to think. I'm such an like analog person. The coolest thing that I'm using right now, and it's nothing modern. I show you. Hold on.
Sure.
Nick gave me my husband Nick.
Holy shit, those are awesome.
So I love this. So he gave me this for Christmas and I flipped out because I mean it's really like nothing and those things are kind of cheap, but I started labeling like everything. I think okay, for the listener, this is a Dymo, so you can and it has the old school font. So I immediately labeled all my, my stage gear and
Yeah.
like or spice jars and like I couldn't stop myself because I think I have OCD or something. I'm not diagnosed, but yeah, it gave me great pleasure, this thing.
Definitely. I was probably 25 or 26, and for my birthday, a group of my friends, we used to play D&D and all of that shit too, and like a bunch of like role playing games, and they ended up getting me like one of those mega stamps where you could and put out like 4 or 5 words on it and
Right.
stamp it and then just continue. And I was like, yes, this is so fucking cool. And it led me to honestly doing that for my band where we have our
Oh,
own stamp.
that's really cool. What a cool idea. You know what? I need to steal that idea because when I was,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's so cool. Yes, I need to thank you for the idea. You can take
Boom.
full credit. That looks so cool. I'm gonna put it on every letter and everything on my
Yes.
forehead. Um,
Right,
So
right.
that reminds me, I had in the 90s, I had a stamp with a bat on it, and I really love bats. So I stamped all my books, and all my letters and postcards with a bat and then signed. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's cool. I'm gonna have a Lucifer stamp. Yes, writing it down. All
What
right.
habit do you recommend that makes you get to your goals? What do you do that you could recommend to somebody else to achieve goals?
To achieve goals, remember, nobody's gonna do it for you. So roll up your sleeves and fucking get to it. Get up in the morning, make yourself a strong cup of black coffee like I do. Put some cold water in your face and then, roll up your sleeves and sit down and write yourself to-do lists and work them off. That's how
Shit,
I do
yeah,
it.
that's great. And putting a deadline for me, that's my to thing to put a fucking deadline on it because if you don't, you'll never get it done.
Exactly. So I put in the calendar, I put things that I have to do also like in the calendar. So then I look, okay, what do I have to do tomorrow morning? All these things. And then I will try to work that off.
Hell yeah. See, that's awesome. And determination that to work to that list and to achieve it and get it done, that kicks ass.
But I need to because I think I need that sort of portable brain. Like I need to write it down so I can get it out of my head because there's so
Mm-hmm.
many things floating around my head all the time. It's a little bit chaotic inside here, so I need to, put things on different lists. And I have my lyric snippets and my
Sure.
to-do lists or my shopping lists. Yeah, it's everything needs to be written
So
down.
so with all of that, do you have to can you immediately call up live and just say, all right, this is the song we're going to do? You see the name, you know the song. Do you or do you have to use maybe a little bit of a callback? Do you have to use like a maybe the first word of each line shown to you or something? How does that work for you?
Of our own songs? No,
Yeah,
those,
for sure.
yeah. No, no. I mean we before we go on a tour, we have maybe 3 or 4 rehearsals. So that's where I will memorize the songs. I know that we've had this that we decided, okay, let's play a cover on the tour. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers by ZZ Top or something. And then I have found myself writing like the first word of the 3 verses on my hand just to have the first word to so I know which was the second verse again so I don't, mess it up.
Sure.
So yeah, I've had written like cheat word on a set list, but not our songs. Usually when we play a cover, just because it would be horrible I don't know, you play like something so iconic as Don't Fear the Reaper and you mess up the lyrics when the whole crowd knows the lyrics. You know what I mean? You don't want to
Oh,
fuck that
absolutely.
up.
Or singing. I've done the thing where singing verses in wrong orders.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that happened to me. That's why I think it's really helpful to just, even if it's just the first word or the first three words of each verse, you know.
Hmm.
So then you know, okay, then you know how the rest goes already.
Oh, absolutely. Uh, Johanna, I have one more question, but before we get to it, as always, links are listed below. So give likes, shares, and follows. Go follow them on social media. Go buy merch. Go see them live. Hopefully, we'll get a cool kick-ass US tour this year. I don't know. I don't know, and I'm kind of asking, but not asking.
Okay. Well, since we've just done a US tour in November, actually our visas have just run out, so I will have to apply for new visas. So I can't promise we'll be back this year. Hopefully, though, in 25. This year,
Hopefully so.
yeah.
Hopefully we're not at fucking World War III at that point.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Fuck. Do you have any shout outs you would like to give today?
Shout out.
Or anything else you want to promote?
No,
Any
yeah,
artwork?
yeah,
Any
because
other bands? Yeah. What do you?
we,
Yeah,
sorry.
go. Sorry.
Oh my God. We have so many friends in the States, so if I had a shout out, it would be never ending. But I do have a shout out. I want to shout out to the Early Moods from LA, which was our support band on the last US tour. And that's a really cool band. So if you don't know Early Moods, listen to them, buy their new album. Um, Fucking awesome killer band that you should catch live
Yes.
if you can. And regarding Lucifer, I would like to give a shout out to our newsletter that I write. So please, you know, if you want to know and be up to date what's going on in the Lucifer world, subscribe to it at www.lucifer.church. And every now and then I send out a newsletter with stuff that's going on, things that we have coming out. We will have some nuggets coming out throughout the year, but I can't talk about it right now.
Sure. I dig that. Awesome. Thank you so fucking much. This has been an absolutely great conversation and interview. My final question of today is what weird thing that you think is socially awkward that you could make acceptable?
Me, I'm socially extremely awkward, and I hope I'm some sort of acceptable. I don't know. I'm such a weird. No, seriously though, I am a true weirdo. You know, I'm trying to think what that thing could be.
I think we all are to our own
Probably.
degree. I mean, to our own degree, I think we all are, no matter what politics you believe, no matter what your orientation is, whatever you believe. I think we are all weirdos to our own degree, and we are all just trying to play the same game.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, yeah. Some more or less, or on different types of levels of the spectrum, right? Yeah,
Sure,
absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
what a pleasure to talk to you. I hope.
absolutely, it has. I appreciate you coming on this week. Like I said, I'm excited that the new album is out, and I do plan to make it to a show to see you all. Hopefully here soon. I'm going to
I
try
hope.
and make it overseas actually as well. So, um, on our way out today from Lucifer 5, what do you want to play?
At the mortuary.
Uh, at the mortuary. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Maxwell's House of Music in Jeffersonville, Indiana is the premier 12,500 square foot music superstore that has served both the southern Indiana and Louisville, Kentucky metro area for over 4 decades. Originally founded by Marvin and Beverly Maxwell in the 70s, this gym remains a Maxwell family-owned business. Mark Maxwell, along with his business partner, Whitney McNichol, continue the reputation as being a national resource for all things music. In 2022, the iconic Guitar Emporium of Louisville relocated to Maxwell's Music, creating the largest independently owned showroom in the region. The retail offerings at Maxwell's Music includes a huge selection of guitars, basses, amplifiers, effects pedals, modeling amps, keyboards, drums, banjos, mandolins, ukuleles, sound systems, stage lighting equipment, and accessories. The music education program at Maxwell's is second to none. From private instrument and voice lessons to DG, EDM, recording, songwriting, and music theory, to rock school, weekend warriors, and Maxwell's Music Lab, there is something for every age and every ability level. In Repairland, guitar and instrument repairs and refurbishment are taken care of by the Maxwell's team of expert guitar technicians and luthiers. They also do instrument appraisals. Maxwell's offers installations for professional audio-visual and lighting systems for schools, churches, clubs, VFWs, funeral homes, sports fields, and so much more. There's also rentable space at Maxwell's, from music practice or rehearsal rooms for individuals or bands, all the way to a meeting space and concert venue that seats up to 120. That also includes a professional audio-visual and lighting system and a sound booth. Maxwell's has it all. All this plus an original, functioning 1947 recording booth to make your own record, to the Guitar Hero throne, to their very own Elvis statue, and don't forget the Harmony Green Pocket Park. There's a reason Maxwell's House of Music in Jeffersonville, Indiana has been recognized by the National Association of Music Merchants as the #1 award-winning Best Store Design, as well as Top 100 Music Store year after year. You gotta see it to believe it. Maxwell's House of Music in Jeffersonville, Indiana.